Most people think respect comes from being louder, stronger, richer, or more impressive. But in everyday life, something else quietly determines how people treat you. You see it at work, in friendships, in the gym, even in small conversations. Some people walk into a room and no one takes them seriously. Others say very little, yet people naturally listen. The difference is not luck, status, or personality. It is behavior. Small choices in how someone carries themselves, responds to pressure, and treats others. Stoic philosophy has always pointed to one truth: respect is rarely demanded. It is revealed through consistent behavior. Before we go deeper, take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel. This helps more people discover Stoic wisdom that can change the way they live and think. Number 1. The exact behavior that commands instant respect. The behavior is simple in description, yet profound in execution. You refuse to let any external event pull you into an emotional reaction, and instead you respond only from a place of deliberate calm and inner alignment. In practice, this means pausing long enough that your words, when they come, carry the weight of someone who is fully in control of themselves. People sense it immediately because most interactions today are flooded with quick defensiveness, eagerness for approval, or silent resentment. When you stay composed, you become the still point in the room. Others unconsciously adjust to your steadiness because it signals a strength they rarely encounter. This composure is not detachment or coldness. It is the active choice to measure every situation against your own standards rather than letting the situation measure you. In a heated discussion at work, for example, you listen fully without interrupting or preparing your rebuttal in your head. When it is your turn, you speak once, clearly, and without raising your voice or adding unnecessary justification. The room quiets because your restraint reveals a self-possession they cannot match. Respect follows not from what you say, but from the undeniable proof that you are not ruled by the moment. Practicing this behavior requires you to treat your emotional state as your private domain. No one else is allowed entry unless you grant it. When someone criticizes you publicly, the old habit is to fire back or withdraw unhurt. The new behavior is to acknowledge the words factually inside yourself, decide whether they contain anything useful, and then reply with the same, even tone you would use on an ordinary day. That single choice shifts the entire power balance instantly because it shows you value your own judgment above their opinion. Over time, this becomes your default posture in every interaction. You stop explaining your decisions, stop filling awkward silences just to keep peace, and stop seeking the small nods of agreement that used to feel necessary. The absence of those needy signals is what creates the vacuum that respect rushes to fill. People begin to lean in when you speak because they have learned that what comes from you is considered, not reactive. The beauty of this behavior is that it costs nothing but self-discipline and pays dividends in every relationship. Family members who once interrupted you start waiting their turn. Colleagues who dismissed your input begin asking for it directly. Strangers treat you with a deference they cannot explain. All of it traces back to the visible fact that you govern yourself before you attempt to influence anyone else. Ultimately, this behavior is the outward expression of an inner contract you make with yourself. My peace is non-negotiable. Once that contract is visible in your face, your posture, and your measured words, respect is no longer something you chase. It is something others automatically extend because they recognize a person who has already earned it from within. Number 2, the foundation that makes this behavior unbreakable. Epictetus taught that it is not events themselves that disturb us, but the judgments we form about them. The behavior of composure rests entirely on this distinction. When you train yourself to separate what happens from what you decide it means, external pressure loses its grip. A raised voice, a dismissive glance, or a public slight becomes mere data rather than a personal attack. That mental separation is what allows your response to remain measured and therefore respected. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself each morning that the people he would meet were capable of rudeness, ingratitude, and arrogance. By expecting these things as natural parts of human life rather than personal offenses, He removed the fuel that usually ignites reactive behavior. Composure becomes effortless when you stop being surprised by the world's chaos and start meeting it with prepared steadiness. Respect follows because you're operating from a level of acceptance most people never reach. Seneca wrote that anger is a temporary madness and that the wise person refuses to hand over the keys to their mind. This behavior is the daily refusal of that handover. When tension rises, you do not borrow the other person's agitation. You keep your own counsel, breathe, and answer from clarity instead of heat. The contrast is so stark that others feel it physically. Their nervous system registers your calm as authority, and they instinctively defer to it. The Stoics viewed virtue as the only true good and externals as indifferent. Once you internalize this hierarchy, seeking respect through people-pleasing or dominance becomes pointless. You act with integrity because it is right, not because it will win approval. That purity of motive is what makes your composure magnetic. People respect what they cannot manipulate, and they cannot manipulate someone who wants nothing from them emotionally. Zeno and the early Stoics practiced indifference to praise and blame alike. This behavior extends that practice into every conversation. You neither chase compliments nor flinch from criticism. Both are treated as passing weather. When others see that neither flattery nor attack changes your bearing, they conclude you must possess something solid inside. The respect that arrives is not negotiated, it is recognized. These ancient principles are not abstract philosophy. They're the operating system that turns composure from a fleeting mood into a permanent character trait. Every time you choose restraint over reaction, you are reinforcing the same mental architecture the Stoics built centuries ago. The result is a presence that feels timeless because it is rooted in truths that never age. Number 3, turning this behavior into a daily practice. Begin each morning with a quiet review of the day ahead. Identify the moments most likely to test your composure: meetings, difficult conversations, unexpected delays, and mentally rehearse responding with calm instead of the usual spike of irritation. This short preparation primes your mind, so the behavior becomes automatic rather than forced. In every conversation, adopt the physical habit of listening with your full attention before forming any reply. Keep your shoulders relaxed, your breath even, and your face neutral. The moment you feel the urge to interrupt or defend, pause for one full breath. That single pause is where the behavior is born and where respect begins to form in the other person's mind. At work, stop volunteering extra explanations for your decisions. State your position once, clearly, and then return to silence. When questions arise, answer them directly without adding emotional padding. Colleagues quickly learn that your words carry weight precisely because they are not diluted by anxiety or eagerness. In personal relationships, replace the habit of smoothing over tension with the habit of allowing it to exist while you remain steady. If a partner or friend raises their voice, do not match it and do not withdraw. Simply acknowledge what was said and respond from your own center. The contrast teaches them that conflict does not have to escalate, and that your respect for yourself creates space for mutual respect. When criticism comes, whether fair or unfair, treat it as information rather than verdict. Ask yourself one question in silence. Does this contain anything I need to adjust? If yes, adjust it later without fanfare. If no, let it pass without rebuttal. This disciplined filtering prevents the old cycle of justification that erodes respect and replaces it with the quiet authority of self-ownership. End each day with a brief reflection on where the behavior held and where it slipped. Note the exact moment you felt a pull toward reaction and how you handled it. This honest accounting strengthens the neural pathway of composure so that tomorrow's practice becomes deeper and more natural than today's. Number 4. The obstacles that try to undermine this behavior. The biggest obstacle is the ego's quiet demand to be seen and validated right now. When someone dismisses you, the ego whispers that silence makes you weak. Stoicism answers by reminding you that true strength is never proven by winning every exchange. It is proven by refusing to play games that diminish your peace. Staying composed is not weakness. It is the highest form of self-command. Another barrier is the old conditioning that equates being liked with being respected. Modern life trains us to soften our edges so others feel comfortable. The behavior requires the opposite, keeping your edges intact while remaining courteous. People may initially feel unsettled by your new steadiness because it highlights their own reactivity. That discomfort is temporary and necessary. It is the price of earning respect instead of borrowing approval. Fear of seeming arrogant or aloof can also pull you back into people-pleasing. The antidote is to remember that genuine respect is never given to someone who performs emotional labor for others. When you maintain composure, you are not withholding warmth. You are offering the rarer gift of stability. Over time, this stability becomes the foundation others trust and admire. Habitual overthinking is another internal saboteur. Your mind will replay conversations and invent better comebacks hours later. The practice is to notice the replay and gently return to the present without judgment. Each time you interrupt the mental rehearsal, you reinforce that the only moment that matters is the one you are living now, where your composure can still make its impact. Social pressure from groups that thrive on drama presents a final test. When everyone else is venting or escalating, the temptation to join them feels almost automatic. Choosing restraint in those moments is where the behavior proves its worth. Others may tease you at first, but the longer you remain steady, the more they begin to look to you as the calm center they secretly wish they could become. Number 5. The respect that arrives instantly and endures. The first visible change is how quickly eyes turn to you when you enter a room. People who once talked over you now wait to see if you'll speak. Your silence has become louder than their noise because it carries the unmistakable mark of self-possession. In professional settings, decisions that once required endless persuasion now move forward with less pushback. Colleagues sense that your position is not fragile or negotiable, and they align themselves accordingly. The respect you receive is practical. It saves time, reduces conflict, and raises your influence without you ever asking for it. Within family and friendships, the dynamic shifts from negotiation to natural deference. Conversations become deeper because others no longer fear your reaction. They know it will be measured. Intimacy grows in the space your composure creates, and the respect you earn feels warmer and more genuine than any forced agreement ever could. Over months, the cumulative effect is a life where you no longer carry the low-grade tension of wondering how others perceive you. That mental bandwidth is freed for actual living. Opportunities appear more often because people want to be around someone who radiates quiet command rather than quiet desperation. The deepest reward is the private knowledge that your worth is no longer on trial in every interaction. Respect has become the natural consequence of who you have become rather than something you perform to obtain. You walk through the world lighter because the behavior has aligned your outer presence with your inner truth. In the end, this single Stoic behavior does not just earn respect instantly. It makes respect inevitable. It turns every ordinary day into quiet proof that the strongest influence you will ever exert is the calm, unshakable example of a mind that governs itself. Live it consistently, and the world will meet you on terms you have already set inside yourself. Number 6. How this behavior changes how people feel around you. When you consistently practice the behavior of unshakable composure, something physical begins to shift inside you. Your nervous system stops treating every disagreement, interruption, or dismissive look as a threat. The constant low-level cortisol that once accompanied social interactions gradually drops. You start breathing deeper without thinking about it. Your shoulders stay relaxed, and your voice carries a natural steadiness that others can feel even before you speak. People unconsciously mirror this calm state when they are near you. They relax a little more, listen a little longer, and treat your words with greater weight because their own bodies register safety and authority in your presence. This is not charisma or performance. It is the visible result of training yourself to remain sovereign over your internal state no matter what the external world throws at you. In a world where most people are emotionally hijacked multiple times a day by notifications, arguments, and unmet expectations, your steady presence stands out like a lighthouse. Others may not be able to name why they suddenly feel more respectful toward you, but their nervous systems recognize a person who is not at the mercy of the moment. That recognition is instant and deeply primal. Over weeks and months, this rewiring creates a feedback loop. Because people respond to you with more respect, you experience fewer triggers, which makes maintaining composure even easier. The old cycle of tension and reaction breaks. Conversations that used to leave you drained now leave you centered. Meetings that once felt like battles become straightforward exchanges. The respect you receive is no longer something you chase. It becomes the natural atmosphere that forms around you wherever you go. Think of the last time you were around someone who was truly calm under pressure. Perhaps a mentor, a parent, or even a stranger. Remember how their quiet steadiness made you want to rise to that same level. That is exactly the effect your new behavior begins to have on everyone around you. You become the person others measure themselves against, not because you demand it, but because your composure silently raises the standard in the room. The Stoics understood that the body and mind are not separate. By guarding your judgments and refusing to let events dictate your emotions, you are literally changing your physiology. Your face shows fewer micro-expressions of anxiety. Your posture communicates grounded confidence. Even your silence feels intentional rather than awkward. These subtle shifts speak louder than any passionate speech and earn a deeper, more lasting respect than loud confidence ever could. In the end, this behavior does not just change how people treat you. It changes how it feels to be you. The quiet dignity you carry becomes your default way of moving through life. Respect stops being an occasional win and becomes the consistent climate of your relationships, because you have become someone whose inner world is no longer available for others to destabilize. Number 7. The cost of needing respect. Most people spend enormous mental energy trying to earn respect through cleverness, humor, achievements, or people-pleasing. They over-explain, laugh too loudly at jokes that aren't funny, or stay silent when they should speak, all in hopes of being liked or valued. This constant performance creates a quiet exhaustion that builds over years. The behavior of deliberate composure cuts this cord completely. You stop performing for respect and start living from a place where respect is simply the byproduct of your self-mastery. The relief is profound. When you no longer need others to validate your worth in real time, you gain something priceless: freedom of attention. Instead of scanning faces for approval or disapproval during conversations, you can actually listen. You can think clearly. You can respond from wisdom rather than from the pressure to impress. This shift alone makes your contributions more valuable, which in turn generates even greater respect. But now it arrives naturally instead of being forced. The hidden cost of chasing respect is that it makes you controllable. If someone can upset you, withhold praise, or give you the cold shoulder and watch you scramble to fix it, they hold power over you. Composure removes that leverage entirely. When you refuse to let their behavior dictate your emotional state, you become ungovernable in the healthiest sense. People sense this freedom in you and instinctively offer respect because they know they cannot manipulate or diminish you. Stoicism teaches that external things like reputation, status, and approval are indifferents. They may be preferred, but they are never necessary for a good life. Once you truly live this teaching through your daily behavior, the desperate need for respect dissolves. What remains is a calm self-respect that is immune to the opinions of others. Ironically, this is the exact quality that makes genuine respect flow toward you from every direction. You will notice the change in small moments first. A colleague interrupts you, and you simply continue speaking in the same calm tone without raising your voice or looking annoyed. They stop mid-sentence, slightly embarrassed, and the group dynamic shifts in your favor. Or a family member makes a cutting remark, and instead of defending yourself or sulking, you respond with quiet clarity. The tension that normally escalates dies because you refuse to feed it. Each of these small victories compounds into a life where you no longer carry the weight of other people's moods. Ultimately, this behavior liberates you from the exhausting game most people are trapped in. You no longer trade pieces of your peace for temporary validation. The respect you receive becomes cleaner, deeper, and more enduring because it is given freely to someone who clearly does not need it. That is the quiet power of a Stoic who has stopped bargaining for respect and started embodying it. Number 8. Applying this behavior in high-stakes situations. High-stakes moments, tough negotiations, public criticism, family crises, or moments when your reputation is on the line, are where this behavior reveals its true strength. While others become emotional, defensive, or overly aggressive, you remain anchored. You speak less, listen more, and choose every word with precision. In these pressure-filled environments, your composure acts like a gravitational force. People who would normally dominate the conversation begin deferring to you because they sense you are operating from a different level. Consider a difficult performance review or client meeting where emotions run high. The natural reaction is to justify, explain, or counterattack. Instead, you absorb the feedback without immediate reaction, ask clarifying questions if needed, and then respond with calm, factual statements about your position or next steps. The interviewer or client often ends up respecting you more than the person who fought back passionately because your restraint demonstrates unshakable confidence. In family conflicts where voices rise and old wounds surface, the behavior keeps you from being pulled into the storm. You do not match the intensity. You do not withdraw in cold silence either. You stay present, acknowledge what is being said without agreeing or disagreeing emotionally, and offer your perspective only when the moment allows. This creates space for real resolution instead of endless escalation, and family members slowly learn that you are the stable ground they can rely on. Even in moments of public embarrassment or unfair accusation, the power of composure is unmatched. By refusing to panic, defend yourself frantically, or seek immediate sympathy, you deny the situation its power to define you. Others watching the event often come away with greater admiration for you precisely because you did not crumble when most people would. Your dignity in the face of adversity becomes a story people remember and respect for years. The Stoics prepared for these high-stakes moments through premeditatio malorum, mentally rehearsing difficulties in advance. You can do the same by imagining the worst-case scenarios of your day and deciding exactly how you will respond with calm. This preparation turns potential breaking points into opportunities to demonstrate the behavior that earns instant respect. The long-term result is that high-stakes situations stop feeling dangerous to your peace. They become arenas where your character shines most clearly. People leave those encounters not just respecting your position, but respecting the person behind it, someone who cannot be shaken when everything is on the line. Number 9, the long-term transformation. After months of living this behavior, the changes extend far beyond individual interactions. Your relationships deepen because people no longer walk on eggshells or try to manage your emotions. They know exactly where they stand with you, and that clarity breeds trust and respect. Friendships become more authentic. Romantic relationships gain stability. Professional networks expand because others want to associate with someone who radiates quiet strength. Your decision-making improves dramatically. Without the fog of needing approval or fearing disapproval, you can choose what is truly right rather than what looks good or feels safe. Career opportunities that once seemed out of reach begin to appear because leaders and colleagues notice your steady judgment under pressure. Promotions, collaborations, and leadership roles naturally gravitate toward people who cannot be easily rattled. Internally, the constant background noise of self-doubt and social anxiety quiets down. You sleep better. You wake up with clearer energy. The mental space once occupied by replaying conversations and worrying about how you were perceived is now available for creativity, learning, and genuine presence. Life feels lighter and more spacious because you're no longer outsourcing your sense of self to other people's reactions. Your influence grows without effort. When you speak in groups, people listen. When you set boundaries, they're respected. When you offer advice, it carries weight. This influence is never forced or manipulative. It is the natural consequence of becoming someone whose words and actions are aligned with inner sovereignty. Others want to be near that kind of center power. Over years, this behavior shapes your legacy. People will not remember you as the loudest voice in the room or the one who fought hardest for attention. They will remember you as the person who remained calm when chaos reigned, who spoke truth without aggression, and who treated every interaction with quiet dignity. That is the kind of respect that outlasts titles, wealth, or fleeting popularity. The ultimate transformation is that you become the rare individual who lives according to Stoic principles not as theory, but as daily practice. Your life itself becomes living proof that self-mastery is the only reliable path to genuine respect. Every day becomes a quiet testament to the power of refusing to let the world dictate your inner state. Number 10. Becoming the example others quietly follow. Once this behavior becomes natural to you, you begin to notice something beautiful. People around you start adopting pieces of it without realizing it. Your children watch how you handle conflict and learn that strength does not require raising your voice. Your colleagues see how you respond to pressure and begin pausing before reacting themselves. Even strangers in brief encounters leave feeling slightly more composed because they spend time in your steady presence. You become a living example that silently teaches others. This transmission of respect-earning behavior happens without preaching or giving advice. It happens through osmosis. When you consistently model composure, others experience the benefits firsthand. Calmer conversations, clearer decisions, deeper connection, and they want that for themselves. Slowly, the people closest to you begin to mirror your steadiness because it feels better than their old reactive patterns. In leadership roles, whether at work, in your family, or in your community, this behavior turns you into the kind of leader people willingly follow. They do not follow out of fear or obligation, but out of genuine respect for someone who leads from inner strength rather than external force. Teams become more productive. Families become more harmonious. Communities become steadier because one person chose to live differently. The Stoics believe that the wise person benefits not only themselves, but everyone around them through the example of their virtue. By practicing this single behavior of composure, you fulfill that ancient ideal in modern life. You do not need to write books or give speeches. Your daily conduct becomes the teaching. There is a deep satisfaction in watching someone who once interrupted you constantly now pause and wait for your response. Or seeing a hot-tempered friend begin to breathe and choose their words more carefully after spending time with you. These small shifts are the real measure of the behavior's power. You are not just earning respect for yourself. You are quietly raising the standard of respect in every circle you belong to. In the end, this is perhaps the greatest gift of the behavior that makes everyone respect you instantly. It does not stop with you. It ripples outward, creating pockets of calm, clarity, and mutual respect in a world that desperately needs them. By mastering your own reactions, you help others master theirs. That is the quiet, profound legacy of a life lived according to Stoic principles, one steady, composed response at a time.